So, welcome to Unlock Your First Six Figures morning show. I am your host, Shay Cannon. I'm an award-winning fractional chief operating officer with an exclusive clientele of 6 and 7 figure CEOs. However, I have a mission, and that mission includes you, entrepreneurs and small business owners who are struggling and spinning their wheels to make it to their first 6 figures in business. I want to show you how to make the money and create time freedom. Let's make the money and create time freedom. My freedom looks like living and working my business from anywhere in the world. I'll spare you the details of where I've been in the past 5 years, but just know I am living my best life and working my best business currently in Mexico. All right. So let's get started. Blog Talk has already been released for today. And the topic for this week is email marketing segmentation for small business. It all starts with the blog. So the blog for this week is at shaycannon.com/tag. TAG. Okay. So with our email marketing platforms, right? We are trying to figure out what's happening at the contact level, right? So if you want to go 2 weeks ago, we talked about how when you finally get people on the list, you need to talk to them. You need to nurture them. You need to send them emails. You need to engage them. If you haven't talked to them for a while, you need to re-engage them, right? Then last week we talked about as they're engaging back, we need to score them. Okay, we need to know what's a good lead and what's a bad lead. And a bad lead is just someone who's not ready to buy from us yet, right? Or someone who will never buy. That's definitely bad. But how do you do that? We talked about segmentation, and we talked about how the segmentation is going to help you. Well, what I noticed was a lot of people didn't know a lot about segmentation. So this week, that's what we're talking about to close out this trilogy on email marketing. We're going to talk about, segmentation. So what we're doing is we're trying to figure out what if you go into your email marketing platform, there are analytics there, right? But those analytics are about your entire account, right? What is the average of what's going on across your entire account? All the lists, all the tags, all everything. But you can't score individual leads with those analytics, right? We have to know at the lead level or the contact level or the email level, okay, what these people are doing to be able to know are they ready to buy or not. So we use tags versus lists. So yesterday we went into deep dive into tags versus lists. If you missed that, you should only have about 3 lists, broad buckets, leads, clients, past clients. Okay, we got that from our tech guru, Leticia Austin. 3 buckets. Okay, now I know you're saying, well, what kind of leads? What kind of clients? What kind of past clients? Well, that's where tags come in. Okay, that's where tags come in. For anything other than those 3 buckets, we are to use tags. Now, yesterday I talked about when we're using lead magnets to get them on our list at all, we should be tagging them by the lead magnet. Because what happens is you can't just tag lead magnet, you have to tag what kind of lead magnet. Because people interested in us, they will sign up for more than one lead magnet. And you want to know each one that they signed up for or which ones they signed up for. Okay. So we talked about lead magnets yesterday, and we talked about lists versus tags yesterday. So if you need that information, go to yesterday's replay. Okay. Today, we're going to talk about tagging by behavior. By behavior, because this is where we're going to get a lot of information about what they're doing and not doing, right? The actions they're taking and the actions they're not taking. Okay, so as you're nurturing your list with tips and tools, conversation, information, whatever, you're giving them calls to action. You're giving them CTAs, right? And so what we want to know is, are they taking the call to action or not? Let me give you some examples of behaviors that can be tagged. Okay. Now, let me tell you, the behaviors could be more detailed based on the email marketing platform that you have, but here are some basic ones that most email platforms allow you to tag. Okay. So your contacts are clicking on links or not clicking on links. Okay. They should be tagged to give them a status based on their behavior. General behaviors for tags include interested and not interested. Now, how do you use that tag? Well, if you sent them a link to your offer, okay, then in that automation, you want a branch of emails. If they click the link, okay, and they didn't buy, if they click the link and they did buy, okay, so that's a behavior. Now, if they did not click the link, then we're going to mark them not interested. Now they get a whole nother set of emails. Hope you're catching what I'm saying, okay? Then you got that you could do active and inactive as tags. Okay. So this is the behaviors that we were talking about yesterday that are not just what are they signing up for. This is how are they, once they sign up for something, what else are they doing, right? Active, inactive. Well, are they still clicking and opening emails, or have they not done that in a while? Because if they haven't done it in a while, then they're inactive on your list, right? If they have done it and they stay active, then they're active. So how we use that in automation is the inactive people, now we need to give them a particular campaign to get them back active. So that might mean we need to work on the titles to the subject lines to the emails for these inactive people, because maybe it wasn't dynamic enough for them to click through and stay active. So now we need to indoctrinate them in a campaign to get them back active. Okay. But the active people can keep rocking along. This is why we need to know these things, right? Another example is action and non-action. Okay. Action and non-action. They could be active, but they're not clicking to see the blog post that you asked them to look at. They may be active because they're opening the email, but they're not clicking to see the article that you're sharing with them, right? So that could be an action, non-action. So if they're opening, that means they may like the subject title, but we might need to work on the copy on the inside of the email, or we might have to work on what is it that we're asking them to do in the email. What are we giving to them? Do they find that valuable at all, right? Okay, then we have, let's see, this type of interest versus that type of interest. Now, this is where segmentation helps us a lot, right? So I help small businesses who are spinning their wheels and struggling to make it to their first six figures. But what I know is overall, it's because they're not clarified, they're not structured, and they don't know how to take the first strategies before they go off trying to do these major strategies. But that's three different pain points. How do I identify where you are? You may be a small business owner, not quite yet at your first six figures, but is it because of clarity? Is it because of structure? Or is it because you don't know how to work strategies, right? So I will send something in an email that will separate you out. Hey, I'll ask this question, and that's a question of clarity. I'll ask this question, it's a question of structure. I'll ask that question, and that's a question of strategy in one email. Now, if you take one action over another, that's when you're tagged. You could be tagged for clarity. You could be tagged for structure. You could be tagged for strategies. I hope that makes sense, right? So based on their behavior to your email content, you should be communicating in ways that influence behaviors more, right? Because what we want to do is we want them to like, know, and trust us more, right? And we want them to go down that pipeline of leads. We want them to go from the lead bucket to the client bucket, okay? If they're in the past client bucket, we want them to get back into the client bucket. If they're in the client bucket, we want you to stay in the client bucket. So we have this pipeline or these goals and the path to the goal that we want you to take. And your behaviors are indicating to us where you are in the pipeline and what we should be doing to get you to the desired goal of that pipeline. All right. So I would love to know from the ladies present. Good morning, Keith, on the Facebook side. What behaviors can you add into your email so that you can start tagging by behavior, which will help you with your lead scoring? Kimberly, I know that you're at the Dream Funder, so you can put it in the studio comments. Demetra, good morning. Keith, good morning on the Facebook side. I want to know from you guys, what behaviors could you be tagging inside of your email based on the information given today so that you can score these people? Dr. Tachi, what behaviors can you be tagging in your emails? Are you
Sorry, I'm here. I think I need a clearer explanation for me of tagging. I was trying to grasp, but
Yes.
I'm not sure I know exactly what you mean by that.
Okay, no problem. So let's go back to one of the examples, okay? So the first one was, are they interested or they're not interested? So they're already in on our email list, right? Now and remember yesterday we talked about the 3 buckets. Well, now we need to know what is their status inside their bucket, okay? How close are they to getting to the bucket we want them to be in? So one of the ways that we can do that is, say, Dr. Tachi, you did a webinar, right? And you had an offer at the end. Okay. In fact, let me not be general. Let's say you had an informational session, which is really a webinar for people interested in advertising with the network, right? So you had this information session. They already signed up for it, right? So they should already be on your list and they're a lead to be an advertiser. Okay. Well, we want to know what kind of lead they are. Are they close to actually giving us money to advertise with us, or are they not? So you give this informational session, and at the end, you give them a call to action, right? So what happens is in your emails, you send them an email that has that link in it. Are you interested in this offer? If they click the link, they could be interested. So now how we talk to them is going to be different than somebody who didn't click. Okay. So they get a behavior tag that says interested. If they didn't click, I don't know why I'm with the click and the clink today. But if they didn't click, then they're marked as not interested. So now the emails that they get are different than the ones of the people who may be interested. Does that make sense?
Yes, okay. So this is okay, it's like a physical tagging
Mm-hmm.
of
In the
okay,
system. In the system. Yeah.
in the
So
system.
we're just learning how to use these email marketing systems more to our advantage, right? Because they
Ah,
have all these capabilities and we're not using them because we don't understand how they go. So I'm just doing like a little topical dive into it, so that you can kind of at least minimally understand that just because somebody signed up for something and they're on the list that's not enough information, right? We don't know where they are in the pipeline of interest to get ready to buy from us or to do the desired goal, whatever that is.
so
So,
based off of, so now going back to what you're saying, based off of their behavior, whether or not they may, like you said, they may open it, but they don't click through to whatever it is. Based off of that, another email may go out with a separate link that says, "Are you it?" I get it. Okay, I understand.
yes, yes. So,
Ah,
so
ah,
I want you to think about things like abandoned cart, right?
okay.
You've gone and you have an e-commerce store, right? So you know that if you've bought something and let's just say you put it in the cart, but you didn't click through to pay for it. So your behavior is very much you're interested, right? But what I would do is what I would tag you as abandoned cart. And so now you get a series of emails that now say, hey, you left something, but we left it in the cart for you. You know, go ahead and get it now, right? Or the next day you might get something that say, hey, we noticed that you were about to buy that thing. How about 10% off to go ahead and purchase?
Mm,
So because they are abandoned cart status and they are tagged as abandoned cart, we can talk to them differently. So that's what these tags are for. Heather,
I
that brought up a question for you.
Yes, sort of. Okay, so when I worked for in e-commerce,
Mm-hmm.
we had this whole like workflow, right? Like we did this whole workflow like on a board. And so for abandoned cart, using your example, so I'm shopping on your website and I want your course, right? But I put in my cart, I don't buy it.
Mm-hmm.
You send me abandoned cart emails, but that does not prevent me from getting your other emails also. Like because I'm
I
still a
mean,
lead.
it depends
Okay.
because for me, what I'm recognizing about this is I actually don't want you to get any emails. I want to stay focused on what you already said you wanted. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm going to take you off of any list, keep you on abandoned cart list for that thing and talk to you about that. And then after a certain amount of time, if you still don't buy, then I'm going to dump you back on the other list where you start getting the regular stuff. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For me, if you're already got your focus on something with me, I don't want you to get competing emails from me. This is where removing tags and adding tags come into play. So I don't want you to be getting, so say you signed up for an email and then you signed up for something else, right? I
Mhm.
said sign up for email, a webinar, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of that webinar, it might have said, buy this, okay? Because that's what the whole webinar was leading you to. But
Yeah.
then it also put you on my main list, and the main list is promoting something else right now. Or
Right.
it has a different price for the same thing. I don't want you getting all the emails. If you're in my webinar funnel, I only want you there until you come out. And then when you come out, I want you to be, I want that tag taken off and another tag put on. It might say past webinar, whatever, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Logically,
Yes.
I can sort of kind of buy that for $1. But
Mhm.
my question is, are you automating the removal and shifting of tags or
Yes. Yeah. So just like an automation can add a tag, it can remove a tag. Just
so
like an
you have to
automation
set
can
the
put you on a
trigger for
list,
that
it can
to
take
happen.
you off a list.
So you have to set up the trigger for that to happen.
Exactly.
Hmm.
But we have to know how tags work to even know that we can set these triggers. You see what I'm saying?
Yes. I'm
Yeah.
okay.
So that's why we're even talking about this week. So you already are thinking different, Heather. I love it. And so the best way to do it, Heather, I always do mine starting off with a piece of paper. I do the
Mhm.
the thank you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that I can see what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Because if I'm in the system, I'm focused on the tech of it. But I want to lay it out with like a little funnel map first.
Yeah, that's what we did. We had like a whiteboard and we'd be like, okay, so they did this. What are the choice? And then we had like,
Yeah.
different
It's
emails.
almost like a whole decision tree. If they
Yeah.
decide this and not this, then we're going to do this. But if they decide this, then we're going to do that. But inside of your tech, that has to be a tag for them to do this or that, right? And get this or that. And so now I'm giving you the different types of behaviors that I know for a fact that the email platforms can do,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
back to Dr. Tachi. Did that cover everything for you, Dr. Tachi? Uh-oh, I might have caught off guard because we moved on from it. It's okay, Dr.
No, no,
Tachi.
no, 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 I'm here, sorry.
Okay. But did
I
that
was
cover
trying not
everything
to
for you
slip.
and even Heather's input? Did that make it even clearer?
It does make it clear. And to be clear myself, it's not that your explanation was cloudy. It was not. I just had a cloudy understanding of it, but your explanation was very clear. So,
Yeah, but
well,
that's the thing, right? We're working in areas that don't even work how we think, right? Like and but I want y'all to be versed enough that even if you hire somebody, you kind of know what's going on. Because what happens is we're losing sales because we're not talking about these people as they branch off into different segments don't have a communication for. At the end of the day, that's all it is, right? So guess what? We had this webinar and they click through. If they buy, great. Now they get this confirmation email and all this other stuff. If they didn't buy, all we know is, well, let's just have another webinar. No, you know what I'm saying? You can talk to those people and you can start to convince those people, but you're going to have tags to know how to talk to them, right? So yeah,
yes.
that's
Now, do
all
I
it is.
still need to answer your question?
Uh-huh. No,
Okay,
you answered it. Thank you, Dr.
thank you.
Tachi. Okay, Heather. So now that we know about the mapping out first, right? So that was great call on your part because I forgot to even talk about that because that is how I do my I can't get into when I'm doing the tech, it has to already be planned because my
Yeah.
brain just works like that, right?
Yeah.
Um, so do you have any questions about how you should be tagging, or do you now know some tags that you need to be using?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
No, don't even try it. Let me tell you what gave you away. Them blue eyes got big, like, oh shit. Like generally, but when you ask me specifically,
I
that
mean,
specificity gets me every time.
like,
Um,
ooh,
so people are
just
signing up for your writing room,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to say it's not through Zoom. We're going to say it's through Active Campaign. And then they get a link for Zoom, not to register, but just to show up,
Yes.
right? Because this is why I don't use Zoom registration. Because see, we can't tag over there. You see what I'm saying? So we're missing opportunities, right?
But we can tag Inactive Campaign and use Zapier to connect them.
Uh, have you used Zapier? Do you know how much
Yes.
they go down? So do you know that it's best to use a native integration than a Zap? So
No.
wherever possible, I'm always going to take the route where I can do native integration. So rather than do Zoom's registration, I do registration through Active Campaign every time. So
Okay.
yes,
Well,
you can connect them. But what happens is you don't know how many people were lost when that zaps out. And they do frequently. And so
okay.
now you've missed an opportunity, right? So I don't use a Zap if I don't have to. In fact, that's how I pick my tech. I make sure that new tech talks to my old tech, the tech I already have, because I don't want to rely on Zaps. They have a new thing now called Padly, that's cheaper than Zapier. And I think you can even get lifetime with Padly, Paddly. I think you can get it from AppSumo. But I don't like to use those connectors if I don't have to. I'd rather have a native connection that I know is going to work. So going back to you. I don't use the Zoom registration. It's hard to get emails out of there and into your system, all these things. I don't want to do it. So all you have to do is do a form through Active Campaign. The list is already in there, and now you can go ahead and do your tags. And what we know is that delivery email can give the same link that the Zoom email can. You know what I'm saying? So why even be bothered with that? Now, they sign up for your writing room through Active Campaign, right? So now they're already on a lead list.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what happens is we have, think of two branching off, right? One is they click to join us. Okay. We don't know if they did join us, but we know that they clicked to join us, right?
Yep.
Okay. One is they never clicked at all. So the people who never clicked at all, we want a series of emails to say, hey, we noticed that you might have missed, this writing session or whatever. The next one is whatever. Or did you know that the stats show that the more you do writing rooms, the more likely you are to have your book, but you talk to them because they didn't click. The ones that did click, we don't quite know unless we got some intricate stuff set up, right? We don't know if they actually attended. But what you can say is, hey, I noticed that you clicked. I hope you made it to a 10. If you didn't, this is what you missed. But if you did, I hope you enjoyed this and that and whatever. And now we're talking to them as though they attended. Because what is the next step? Did you know that the writing room is just sacred space? But if you need help with an outline, this is an opportunity for you.
Okay.
So the tag is going to be what makes that first email, which was a registration, do two separate things for two different groups of people that both signed up.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Look, see, I'm making my little
Yeah, I got to do it too. So let me tell y'all, I'm not coming to you as a person whose email marketing is set up perfectly. I'm coming to you as a person who has to fix their email marketing. And it made me think about y'all. And I was like, God, do they even know about this? So let me tell them, right? So yeah, I'm not always standing high and talking low. And hopefully I never do. But this is definitely not one of those things I'm an expert at. As I learn, I do better. And as I do better and I know what works, I'm telling y'all so that y'all can do better, right? Because I am not a tech person, automations person. I know enough to be dangerous. I want y'all to be as dangerous as me in the least, or at least know what's going on when you're hiring people who are the expert, right? Okay, Dr. LaFera, you joined us. You were on the Facebook side. You jumped over here. How much did you hear, Dr. LaFera, and how are you using your tags? I might have caught off guard. There you go.
You did. I was fussing at people. I heard you fussing at Heather.
No, I
Um,
wasn't fussing. Look, you was fussing. Keep that fussing with you. Don't spread it. Deep breath, huh? Well, we're talking about tags with behaviors. So how are you using your tags based on the behavior they do or do not do?
Well, like you said yesterday, like what lead magnet did they opt in for? If they opt in for lashes specifically, then I may tag them with lashes. If they opted in for what I consider wellness products, which would be like my supplements, then I tag them with wellness. If they opted in for just have this lead magnet now for women to prioritize themselves and to learn different ways to listen to their body. So that would be under wellness. And if it was at a particular conference, I would put which conference it was at.
Okay, now that is opt-in, right? And that was yesterday. You are correct. But today we're saying they're already on your list, right?
Oh,
So let's talk about the last people. Let's talk about the last people. specifically,
Yeah.
right? So they
Mhm.
got on your list for the lashes. They got some kind of lead magnet, but they didn't buy, right?
Mhm.
So now we're trying to sell to them. Hey, do you know we have, these particular lashes on sale, or these particular lashes are great for everyday lashes, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So if you're interested in these lashes, click here. So there should be, if they click, there should be a tag added to them that they're interested. If they didn't
Oh,
click,
yeah.
there should be a tag that they're not interested. Based
Yeah.
on those two tags, the not interested people should be getting emails to get them interested. Okay. The
Yeah.
interested people should be getting emails to get them to buy. That makes
Yeah.
sense?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So those are the behavior tags that I'm talking about. You
Yep.
have webinars. People assign, they sign up for the webinar. Okay, great. So now you're tagged for the webinar. That's great. But I want to know, how are you interacting with this webinar sequence, right? So did
Mhm.
you ever click the link to sign up for the webinar? Then that means you didn't show up, right? So
Right.
I
Yeah. And
got
that's
this.
the thing with me.
I'm going to talk to you differently, and we're talking about attendance tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
But these are the behavior tags that I mean, because we
Yeah.
have
I
to
don't
go
really
deeper than
use.
just tagging them coming in on our list.
Yeah. I don't use behavior tags unless it's like they bought a specific style of
Mhm,
product from me. I tag
mhm.
them with that, but other
Yeah.
than that,
But do
I
you
need to
now
get better with
see,
what you're saying.
but do you now see the opportunities that you're missing though?
I do, and I've always
Okay.
known it, but I didn't know how to fix it.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah. So this is how we're gonna fix it. We're gonna pay attention to the behaviors, and we're gonna tag them for those behaviors, or the actions and the non-actions, so that we can speak to them differently. Because sometimes what's happening is that the opportunity that we're missing out on is, oh, they didn't buy from the first time that you offered, right?
Mhm.
But you're not giving them um what they need to buy for the level that they're on. I'm gonna talk to you different if you never clicked anything than if you clicked something and just didn't buy. Okay, so that could be abandoned cart. That could be you didn't even get to the cart. So if you didn't even get to the cart to trigger the abandoned cart sequence, then how do I catch you? Right? It's gonna have to be action, non-action. So thank you for that, Dr. LaFera. Over here on the Facebook side, we got Deidre finally joined, Miss Williams. She says she's finally here. Yep. Tell me what question that you have, Deidre. Demetra is saying, so this flow chart basically starts with either a yes side and a no side. The next part of the flow on either side is going to be a series of emails. The ultimate goal is to purchase, but for those that didn't, should the email for them be to refer them back to some highlights of the webinar, etc.? That's a great one, Demetra. So yes, it could be yes and no. It could be interested, not interested, which is kind of a yes or a no. Or don't forget, it could be interested in this, interested in that. Okay. So they can have interest, but it could be in two different things, right? So for example, for you, Demetra, they might be interested in, basic reading, tutoring, or intermediate reading, tutoring. You know what I'm saying? So it could be two different interests that could help you segment them out. So it could be that. And so based on the interest that they pick, now that series of interests is for the people that pick basic reading tutoring. This email sequence is for those that picked intermediate reading tutoring. So you got it, but it's not just yes or no. Sometimes it's which yes are you, right? Now, you said the ultimate goal is purchase, but say they don't click, right? Yes, something like a highlight of the webinar that they took, something like data based on, the improvement, pressing pain points, you know what I'm saying? All of that is going to be what you do to help them to get on that side that you want them to be on. Demetra said, I guess my tags would go back to the pain points, address the webinar, how I have the solution. Perfect. Exactly, Demetra. Odidra said, what app are we using to tag? Active Campaign. I use Active Campaign. You can use whichever one you want, but you want to use one that at least gives you the opportunity to tag and create automations, right? Because we're speaking generally about tags, but I use Active Campaign. But if you are in, one of them little weak email marketing things that only really send emails, they don't really have automations, you can't tag, right? All you can do is list and all that kind of stuff. You're probably, it's probably time for you to move on from that particular platform because you're ready for more. Cool beans. All right. So today was about behavior tags. We learning more and more, right? Tomorrow we're going to go into attendance, and then Thursday we're going to go into attendance. Demetra said ConvertKit, a good one to use. ConvertKit, as long as it has tags, lists, and automations, I say play with it, because all of them, once you hit a certain level, all of them are kind of the same, but it goes to user preference at some cases. Like, one thing I love about Active Campaign is I can be creating my automation and create emails in the automation as I'm creating the automation. In other places, you have to have all the pieces, and then the automation will connect it up. So Active Campaign works better for my brain because I'm building as I go, and it allows me to do that. All righty. So basically what you want is you want the capability to not just have lists and not just send, one campaign after another campaign. What you want is to be able to have automations, segment those automations by tags and all of that. That's what you want. Okay? That's what's going to make it for this level. Because what happens is the basic use of it is we're missing out on opportunity. Okay. And then I want you to think about how you buy as a person. There are times where you intend to buy, but you forget. But if that email platform only allows you to send the one email and doesn't have an automation that follows up, you're losing out, right? If your automation doesn't have where, oh, this person has become inactive, let me be a little more aggressive with this person versus the person that is active, we're missing opportunity for that too, because we're speaking to everybody as though they're the same, and we don't want to. Personalization is the name of the game. So you have to segment out and keep segmenting and keep segmenting to talk to that person the way they need to be talked to buy from you. So I hope that makes sense. All right. Yes, Dr. Tachi. Okay, so does anybody have any questions before we get out of here? Because we're going a little deeper tomorrow.
I have a quick question. If you said
Dr. LaFera?
For scoring, once you see who's opening and who's not, do you keep this on a spreadsheet? Like the CRMs don't do that, do they?
So it depends on what level you're on with them sometimes. Like Active Campaign does have a scoring system in it, but I don't have enough people going through where I cannot keep a spreadsheet. So I do keep a spreadsheet. I don't have enough people coming through where I don't have a feeling for where y'all are, right? Like I can look at y'all faces and know that y'all have been on multiple workshops. You know what I'm saying? But to scale, I can't just rely on what I feel or what I feel like I know, right? So I do use a spreadsheet at this point. And if you took the organic marketing workshop, it gave you that as a part of your Foo Fighters, how to keep up with who is top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. But yeah, a spreadsheet.
Okay,
but they do have like you can pay somebody to connect all of this stuff up if that's what you wanted to do. But if you're not there yet where you couldn't keep up with it, I mean, do you spend that or do you not spend that? It's up to you.
Yeah. Thank you.
What level of the plan do you want to pay for? Because what I know is Active Campaign jumped up in their stuff, in their pricing, and they took some capabilities out of the lower pricing and put them in the higher pricing. So they do have a lead scoring system in Active Campaign, but you have to show it what scores you wanted to keep.
Okay.
Yeah. And so sometimes also that's when you start to get into a HubSpot or a Pipe Drive or a Salesforce, right? So again, all of those cost way more money, and they're very convoluted and hard to understand. Yeah. So what I will say is most of us have a email platform that offers demonstrations. Go to the sales, reach out to customer service, reach out to the sales team and tell them you want a demonstration. I know that Active Campaign does. And so what they can do is they can help you. And so the reason why it's the sales department is because some of those features are going to be on a higher level, and the salesperson is going to know how to work it and know what level it's on, because that's how they're going to try to sell you on a higher level. So never be afraid for any of the tech that you work to get a demonstration. Sign up for one so that somebody can one-on-one show you how to do stuff, and you can ask questions based on your business. And it's funny because I told y'all yesterday that one of my tech gurus, the man for Active Campaign, he's having a webinar today on segmentation. Can't wait to share that with y'all tomorrow. But if you want to sign up, I'm going to find the link and put it in the comments of Facebook. All right. All righty. Well, we'll be back to confuse you more tomorrow. But hopefully you're getting something, right? So hopefully it's at least allowing you to think differently so that even if you have to hire somebody because you don't know how to do it, you know what should be going on now, right? All right, guys. Well, y'all have a great day. The studio is closing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Have a great day, everybody.